What's up, guys? Happy Tuesday. January 24th, 2023. I hit live, and I was like, let me go get some water. And then while I was in there, I was like, let me start dinner. So that's what took a little longer than usual. But appreciate you guys for being here already. What up, Conscious, Ego, Vic, David, Figueroa, Fair Money, Mike. Said I won 1942 Dollar Tree money. Here we come. Need some TP? Is that toilet paper or is that slang for like drugs? What up, dang lazy mofo? Jake in the house, ducking. Yeah. Sorry, Sabonis came from Big Payday. Man, there was a couple of hunches that let me down last night. But just kind of felt like it was going to be a weird night. So, who all plays both DraftKings and FanDuel, or who plays one or the other and has a reason? Me personally, I have for really my whole career, I preferred FanDuel for NBA. And one of the reasons why I like it more, or have liked it more, is because I felt like roster construction was so much easier. I know that can be a bad thing, or it doesn't feel as skillful, but I just like having lineups I like, you know, double studs, three studs, stuff like that. Is it just me, or like the last month is kind of swapped, where DraftKings has way more value than FanDuel lately? And it is what it is. We all play from the same deck of cards, but I miss when FanDuel was the easy one, you know? I don't know if anybody else has picked up on that. Hopefully they chill out. I get it. Sometimes, you know, we shouldn't have min-price backups and blah, 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 but there's been some really egregious, like $2,000 differences between a couple players lately from site to site. All right, we got 7 games tonight. We got to do a little dive in here. Do a little game-by-game research. See if we can't walk away with a nice player pool to build off of, right? DK exclusive. I think DraftKings lobby looks better, and I like DraftKings more for football. Baseball, I'm indifferent. I love them both. I think I like having 2 pitchers in baseball, just because, you know, pitchers have the highest, I would say, predictive value. You know what I mean? Like less variance in what a pitcher puts up versus a hitter. But basketball, I've always been on the FanDuel side, and one of the early reasons why I like FanDuel was they didn't have multi-position eligibility, and I just felt like it was easier. It was like a game of tiers at that point. And then they added MPE, and I didn't love it, but I don't hate it because the pricing was still there. And I was like, man, on DraftKings, you can only have one stud and go from there, whereas on FanDuel, the pricing was so loose, you could do whatever. But it has not been that way the last couple of, at least the last 2 weeks, it feels like. But I like when the 2 major sites are distinctly different enough to where there's reason to like or play on both. But heck, lately I've been thinking about taking more action to DK. But I do think DraftKings players are better, if that makes sense. I think it's easier on FanDuel. Taco Tuesday, yes sir. What up, Smoothie? What up, Moose? Took a few days off and losing the lit. Hey man, that's what it is. Take a little reset. I wish I could do that more often. A little reset, come back. Some slates you just know you're not gonna like. Hopefully today's different. I like DK software better now that FanDuel has some tech issue daily. I'll stay away. You know. What up, Cash Out? Hope you're doing all right. The FanDuel tech issues that may or may not coincide with overlay issues, as the conspiracy theorist on Twitter would put out, you know? I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. Play NHA, Monkey Knife Fight, and PrizePicks. So I love me some PrizePicks. Obviously, I rep No House Advantage quite a bit too. Monkey Knife Fight and I have beef. And I'm petty. I'm petty. So I haven't played over there. But I'm sure they're good. I see them. I see they have ads at the Yankee games. But so years ago in spring training, Masahiro Tanaka was pitching to Giancarlo Stanton and hit a comebacker right off of Tanaka's head. And, you know, Stanton, he's literally written the StatCast exit velo books. Well, for some reason, Monkey Knife Fight tweeted the video and was like, retweet this if you're having a better day than Tanaka. And I took that personally. I was like, come on, man. You know what I mean? So ever since then, I just haven't, I've been taking my business elsewhere. But I think they deleted it. So it is what it is. People make mistakes. I don't know. Anyway, let's do some research here. Let's get caught up with some news. Let's go check out Underdog's Twitter. See what's going down. I got my water ready. LaMelo still questionable. Cody Martin questionable. The key news to watch via the 3 p.m. update from Underdog. Nikola Jokic questionable. LeBron James questionable. Donovan Mitchell probable. LaMelo Ball to be determined. DeAndre Ayton doubtful. Brandon Ingram doubtful. Andrew Nembhard questionable. And Najee Marshall questionable. So those are the major ones. Obviously, the cues on Jokic and LeBron mean a lot. LeBron often plays through tags anyway, so we'll see how that goes. It is Taco Tuesday over on PrizePicks. If you guys are unaware, we have just 16 minutes left for the first taco. It's a Donovan Mitchell point discount going from 26.5 to 21.5. So you got 15 more minutes to make that, and then I do believe. Let's see. Let's check the voting. I think the next one might have been Luka. Actually, I don't even think I voted. I just saw people on Twitter. Which one of these is PrizePicks? There we go. I love the petty gun dagger. I mean, I got a rep of all teams, but I think it was in poor taste anyway. When they tweeted that, Tanaka was like at the hospital. Like, you know what I'm saying? You don't even know the man's alive. Taco bar voting. But I'm sure, like, whatever. We all make mistakes. Twitter's hard to figure out. Oh, wait. That was the Mitchell one. So I guess Twitter's where they have the other one. And then they have one for hockey going. And it looks like this is going to be Alex Tuch to 1.5 shot on goals. I couldn't help you with that one. I think they usually do a Twitter vote as well for more tacos. So let me see if they have one up. See what that might be looking like. Petty gun. I try not to be too petty, but I can be petty. I just got rep the homies though, Maybe they haven't dropped it yet, so we'll keep an eye on that. So I believe they do one Discord vote and one Twitter vote, so we'll see what the next taco is. But you guys got 15 minutes on the first Donovan Mitchell one, and you already know the vibes. If you haven't signed up for PrizePicks, sign up using code GUNDACKER. They'll match that deposit instantly, no slow drip. So you throw $20 at it, it'll be $40. Instant playable site credit, and we should have a juicy slate to get some action in. You know what I'm saying? What up, EB? Anybody been seeing the DeMar Hamlin conspiracy? Twitter, man, Twitter's a wild place sometimes. I guess all of it. TikTok's weird too. Human beings are stupid. They just are. Meanwhile, human beings are stupid. Anyway, let's go bet money on basketball. Let's talk about tonight's slate. Chicago Bulls at the Indiana Pacers. First game on the docket. Project starting five for the Bulls: Ayu Dosunmu, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Patrick Williams, and Nikola Vucevic. Up against TJ McConnell, Andrew Nembhard, Buddy Hield, Aaron Nesmith, and Miles Turner. 234.5 total. 2 point spread in favor of the visiting Chicago Bulls. Bulls night 2 of a back-to-back. I didn't see anything floating around about potential rest. I know that some spots we saw LaVine, injury managed, something like that. But as far as I know, nothing's come out. What up, Bird? What's the theory, Gun? I think the theory is that the person that was on TV Sunday in the Bills game was not DeMar Hamlin. It was, but that's what it is. Just people took that and ran with it, and I don't know. I didn't really go in that rabbit hole too much. Matchup wise and spread wise, like this very attackable game. 2-point spread. You want to get into that. With Tyrese Halliburton still down, we do have a questionable tag on Nembhard. I believe Underdog had him officially queued. I don't know that there's any update. We'll see what the blurb we can get on him is. Questionable with an illness. So looks like another day we might be jumping into some TJ McConnell, who's just been ridiculously efficient. Many would argue unsustainably efficient, but now that we just keeps doing it, right? 6,100 now on DraftKings, so finally caught up price-wise to probably where he needs to be, to where he's not 70% owned, and he's linear on both sides in terms of being over 6K. So I threw a 30-minute projection on him. As efficient as he's been, it's going to come in with way more than a fantasy point per minute. So we'll do a little bit of digging here. First, I want to go look at the rotation last game for the Pacers. What up, Kiefer? Hope you're doing all right. Like a juicy theory. I mean, sometimes getting into those conspiracy theories can be fun, but usually they're founded on BS. You know what I'm saying? McConnell did start that last game, but there has been instances this season where he didn't start in the same split. But either way, he has probably a good shot at up to 30 minutes. So I put him at 30, gave me a really solid projection. Did land on 39 minutes last game, and I would assume if Nembhard can't go, that can only be a bonus for him. And in this particular matchup against the Chicago Bulls, it is one of those spots where I do like attacking them more with wings and guards, and they're pretty decent at preventing other centers from accruing a lot of fantasy points. So even at a appropriately and efficiently priced 6K-ish area, I'm going to be interested in TJ McConnell. Buddy Hield and Benedict Mathurin, two guys I would be looking at to pick up some of the scoring. Buddy Hield has been he's been consistently inconsistent. 22, 9, 3, 18, 5 points. But you have to assume that he's going to be one of the leaders in shot volume. Him and Benedict Mathurin would be the guys I look to the most. I might get some more Mathurin than Hield just out of a little bit more trust. But I think both of them are in play here. They're probably going to be the tier 3 area for them. I think there's a good chance I get to like tier 2s on TJ McConnell. On the Bulls side, there hasn't been anything out yet on a potential rest for Levine, DeRozan, Vucevic, so I got to assume that they're all in. And kind of the same strategy as last night, where at the 9K price points, it's hard to get warm and fuzzy on just their ceilings because there's so much vulture potential between them. But I certainly think I have to continue setting a limit. I think today I might limit one of the 3 in lineups. Vucevic was your best investment last night out of the 3. Solid matchup against the Hawks, and this is a Pacers defense that has been a solid spot for everyone. So the likeliest outcome is that none of them shatter the 9K price point, but if they did, I can't see 2 of them doing it. So I would likely put them all in a group on Fantasy Cruncher and say no more than one of these 3 in the same lineup. And that's pretty much how I'm going to attack this game. So I guess we're waiting on some definitive Nembhard news. If he can't go, I'm hoping that just stabilizes the floor on Mathurin minutes, but Chris Duarte, guys like that are candidates for picking up extra minutes there. Theory is fun until it hits social media. Theory is fun until like you realize, oh, these people are serious. Like these people really believe this. And it's just like, man, I hope these people are never in a situation where something tragic happens to them. Could you? I don't know. Could you imagine like you go to a church or a restaurant or I don't know, and then your life is impacted by a tragedy, and then a week or two later you have to open up Twitter and just see all these crazy conspiracy theories that your family's not real people. It was all by the government. It's just like, man, how are people like this? That's kind of where I'm at on that. What up, Ayo? What up, Anthony? Did we win yet? Not yet. We're about to. Kind of owes it to everyone to go on IG Live. I mean, still be tweeting. I think people have been really selective about the pictures and the video clips they shown, because there's plenty of pictures of him at the game with his face showing. It was in Buffalo, bro. It was like negative 85 degrees Celsius. I'm having my face covered too. Celtics at the Heat. Night 2 of a back-to-back for the Celtics. Peyton Pritchard, Derek White, Jason Tatum, Grant Williams, Robert Williams taking on Kyle Lowry, Tyler Hero, Caleb Martin, Jimmy G, Buckets, Bam Adebayo. We got a 215.5 total, 4.5 point spread in favor of the home team, Miami Heat. So on the list, Malcolm Brogdon, Jaylen Brown, Al Horford, Marcus Smart, all listed as out. The Celtics are very, very low on guards. Last night, night 1 of the slot machine for me for Peyton Pritchard. I was pumping quarters in there, had a ton of Pritchard exposure. Woe is me, right? It is what it is. Tonight, I probably am still at the slot machine pumping quarters, and we'll justify it today by saying, hey, Jaylen Brown's absence removes a lot of points per game, the second most on the team. So I think Peyton Pritchard has to pick up some slack here, and I'm going to run it back, at least on DraftKings at 3,700. The entire Celtics team that we have projected to play all look like they're live to pay off their price point in terms of minute projections and return here. We can't get too tunnel visioned on the Celtics, or at least I would caution us to, just because of how good the defense is for the Heat and how low this total is. Like, oftentimes we just get coagulated on these 215 totals on a NBA that's giving us 230s and 240s nightly, but I understand why we are pretty interested here. So let's go pull up some Jason Tatum splits, I guess, just to have a number, because I obviously think it's very reasonable to be super intrigued by a guy like Jason Tatum, who could have infinite usage in this split. I'm only going to take off Jaylen Brown for our first run, because I do think we're going to start diluting the minute sample the more and more we go. But with these two being the obvious usage guys, Tatum on the court this season without Jaylen Brown, 35.4% usage rate, 1.4 DraftKings points per minute, 1.36 on FanDuel. And we let's elongate on that sample size to 2021. Pretty much the same situation, I guess. And see if those numbers are stable. Yep, 35% usage rate, still the same per minute production. So we wrestle with a tough matchup, but I think usage for me often trumps all. So Jason Tatum has to be one of the guys we're very, very interested in tonight, and maybe the matchup will cause suppressed ownership, right? And the fact that, it's a slate that could give us Jokic, LeBron, stuff like that. Looking at ownership projections from earlier today, Tatum is really not somebody that's up there. Yeah, he was in the single digits. So because of that, and I'm happy with that, it means I can get there, be over the field, if that holds up, be over the field and still not feel like I'm over invested in a bad matchup, bad total. But at 11.1K on DraftKings, 11.2K on FanDuel, versus guys like Luka, versus potentially Jokic, stuff like that, it's going to have to bring it. I have him a third highest projected raw fantasy points right now, behind the aforementioned Jokic and Luka's a mile above and beyond these guys. But I do think there's at least a above 0% chance. And I would say, I don't know what my number would be, but is there a 10% probability of Jason Tatum being the highest scorer on the slate, considering everyone's out? Maybe. Maybe that's a little too high, but I still think it's above single digits, and that's where his ownership's at right now. So I'll be invested on him. The 4.5 point spread kind of gives me a little bit of courage that this would be close. The front court situation, Robert Williams rested last night, right? Blake Griffin drew the start, and now Horford's down. Williams is definitely one of those guys that has been point per minute in production. The matchup really couldn't be any worse, though. So I guess have to wrestle with comfort here. So we'll look at two things. One, DVP. Miami allows the fewest fantasy points per game to opposing centers. And then two, looking at some of the metrics where Robert Williams thrives, such as blocks per game, Miami allows the second fewest blocks per game. So it's really not your checkbox matchup for Robert Williams, but at the price and the minutes coming his way, considering all these people down, like, I understand why we want to be there. So I'm getting a middle of the road 30-ish fantasy point projection on both sides, about what you would want at that price point. So I guess as long as his ownership coincided with the single digit ownership on Tatum, I'd be there. But if that got a little too high, I'd probably just let the matchup push me away from him, and then lean on some of the other guys that like Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, maybe even Grant Williams has a stronger case here today. I think if Grant Williams played the most minutes on this team outside of Tatum, I wouldn't be surprised. Did offer 34 minutes against the Toronto Raptors, 13 shot attempts, little under half of them being from behind the arc. And we know, since the Heat are so good at being a funnel defense, preventing points in the paint, they do give up, or teams tend to just shoot threes against them because of that. I think they give up the highest three-point frequency in the league, the second highest behind the Houston Rockets. Not necessarily the highest percentage, but meaning offenses are attacking or finding that attacking the Heat is more lucrative from chucking threes. They are allowing the third most three-pointers made per game and the eighth most three-point attempts per game. So they are allowing some threes to be made. And if Grant Williams is live to shoot double-digit threes, and I think in the absence of Jaylen Brown and Al Horford, he is, I think I kind of like Grant Williams more than I expected to, opening up this slate. The 5K is price point, not fun, but at least he makes a little bit more sense based on what he's bringing to the table, right? Robert Williams is not going to offer up a bunch of threes. So Tatum, Grant Williams, and then Peyton Pritchard, Derek White. I feel like I might stagger those two. I might just stagger the three role players behind Tatum, but I'm going back to the well on Pritchard, and Derek White's going to be in the mix as well. But I'll ultimately probably not be over 20% on any of these guys. Pritchard might have a case on DraftKings when the dust settles. On the Miami Heat side, Bam Adebayo 8,100. Sure, that'll probably drop a decent amount. We have seen prices go down for these guys since they've become healthy and have had Hero, Butler, Adebayo together. So much so that Kyle Lowry is $4,800 on DraftKings, over $1,000 cheaper than his FanDuel price point. But he hasn't really offered much to wow us because of this matchup being perhaps a little bit more porous than usual. No Marcus Smart catching the team on the back-to-back. I think I'm there on Kyle Lowry exposure, and I wonder if the field is going to get there as well, because I think he's just going to project pretty decently enough. Looking at, no, I don't see him in the top list, the top 10, top 20. So yeah, I'm probably in on Lowry, and I think the Heat, I'll cycle through on DraftKings, so I like the prices individually on everyone. Everyone has a ceiling on this price worth taking a chance on, but because of the total, I'm not going to have like full-on stacks of the Heat. So might cap at most 2 Celtics and maybe at most 2 Heat, but probably at most 1. We'll see. I might get 2 too. What up, Humboldt? Hope you're doing all right. What up, Noble? Hope you're doing all right. Did anyone see Jimmy Butler's new hair? I did not. Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Butler, new hair. You're not talking about the fake dreads, are we? This one? What the freak? The heart? Or the locks? Hey man, let that man be great. Let that man be great. You guys remember Elfrid Payton's hair? Or Reggie Bullock had the locks for his sister, but Elfrid Payton out there looking like The Weeknd. Remember that? Sideshow Bob cut? That was a weird one. I was like, how do you even see, bro? Hello, Governor. What up, Squeak? Hope you're doing all right. Why can't I find the strategy show to rewatch on Stochastic? I don't know. Maybe. It's crazy. All right, so that was the 7th. By the way, there's only one game at lock, and then we got a couple games at 7:30. Cavs at the Knicks. Next game up. Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Isaac Okoro, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen taking on Jalen Brunson, Quentin Grimes, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, Jericho Sims. Break down the walls of Jericho. 220.5 total, 3.5 point spread in favor of the Cavs. So the Knicks still down Mitchell Robinson. We saw Jericho Sims draw the start last time out, and there's a $1,100 gap in price point between FanDuel and DraftKings. I wasn't that enamored with playing Sims that night, but I guess at this price, the fact that he's forward eligible opens up a little bit more interest for me. 28, 33 minutes last two games, 25, 24, run of the mill. Is that going to kill you? No. Is it? I mean, it's more good than bad. If you told me that like his ownership was going to be 30% and probably only offers 24, I might think about what lineups look like without him. But looking at ownership projections, he's not high on the list of what I saw this morning. So that could change. I don't have an updated list. That was from like way earlier. But this is just one of those spots I don't like. What's like, I can't sit here and be pessimistic about Robert Williams against the Heat and then just be super stoked about Jericho Sims, who might be 4th, 5th in offense against the front court of the Cavs, because it's pretty bad as well. So I think the DraftKings price though is too low, kind of like Peyton Pritchard, where I just have to take some shots and hope that it gets there, but I don't want to be like well over 10% or something invested. Matchup wise, Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, the two that are most intriguing to me. I think everyone here is pretty efficiently priced. When we look at the Knicks defensively, they do funnel a lot of fantasy success and real life success to the wings and guards, so more oomph on maybe some guard narrative on Donovan Mitchell, right? There was a little bit of off-season rumors that Mitchell was the New York Knicks guy. That fell through, and then Jalen Brunson became the guy, and he's been just fine. So maybe they'll play up on that and have a little fun in the garden. But no one here is going to be like extremely tier 1 or tier 2 for me. I'll probably get to tier 3 level for Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland as well. I don't mind the Garland FanDuel price either. Same with Donovan Mitchell. And then on the Knicks side, Julius Randle has been the guy that has been most intriguing to me. But again, I don't like picking on the Cavs front court. So it might just be Jalen Brunson and get out. And Brunson's been solid enough. But it's another one of those games, lower total compared to the norm these days. But the Knicks can kind of usurp or offset some of that pessimism with how many minutes they play in competitive games. 36, 38, 38, 43, 42. You're going to get minutes out of Jalen Brunson. So with those type of minutes, as long as you can hold a point per minute plus, I'm interested. So those are the names that stand out to me. Looking at the defensive metrics here for the Cavs, I guess most intriguingly would be the fantasy points allowed. The Knicks allow the second fewest fantasy points allowed per game, and the Cavs are bottom 10 as well. And I do think the Cavs would have a chance to be higher or lower in this list, depending on your perspective, if there was more healthy games with Mobley and Allen together. I think together it's a pretty strong front court. So I'm mostly getting to the guards here. Yeah, I know. Let's get caught up. They didn't do one this morning? Oh, dang. Where's Elfrid Payton hanging with Delonte West? Where is Elfrid Payton? Wasn't he with, like, the Suns for a bit and then maybe, like, the Pelicans? I don't know where he went. Elfrid Payton. Maybe he's, like, in China or something. Now you got me wondering. I like how one of the things was what team does Elfrid Payton play for now? Orlando. He was with the Pelicans, right? Am I tripping? Wait, is he? He's on the Suns. No, that was last year. Bro, I swear my brain remembers him as a Pelican. Jimmy Butler rocking a girl bun. That's him right there. Why didn't it? Basketball, anyway. What team does he play for now? Suns? That's not true, right? Man, I think he's just not in the league. Good for Elfrid Payton, if he is. Jimmy Butler rocking a girl bun with his edges brushed out. Let that man be great. Peyton Pritchard versus Elfrid Payton. 1v1, who you got? For fantasy points, Elfrid Payton. When you gave that man a chance, he filled up the stat sheets. For speed and shots, probably Peyton Pritchard. Let me take him out my lineup right now. Y'all really... I can't roster him, bro. His hair, dude. Not going to be able to do it. All right, Nuggets at the Pelicans. Next game on the docket, 8 p.m. Tip-off time. Jamal Murray, Kentavious Caldwell Pope, Bruce Brown, Aaron Gordon, and Nikola Jokic taking on CJ McCollum, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, Najee Marshall, Jonas Valanciunas. A couple of cues here, most notably reigning MVP, the reigning, defending. And you guys watched Raw 30 last night? I didn't get a chance to watch it, and my bootleg site didn't have it up yet, so hopefully tonight I'll check it out. Heard mixed reviews. Left hamstring tightness for Jokic, officially questionable. Missed Denver's last 2 games with Zeke Naji replacing him in the starting lineup. So we'll keep an eye on that. That's pretty significant. And then Jonas Valanciunas is pretty important as well. I gotta skip this song. I always skip this song. I don't know. It's just some guy moaning in my ear. Which, hey, you know, not my thing. But whatever. Najee, not J-Val. What, did I have J-Val? No, I didn't. Just Najee. All right, cool. Najee's questionable with a right big toe contusion. Missed the Pelicans' last 2 games as well. So if he can't go, Dyson Daniels will likely return to the bench. Or if he can go, with Marshall, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy. All right, so that's from NBC Sports Edge. Cool. That's the 4-1 there. So let's go run it off on the Nuggets here. Obviously, if Jokic does play, he's got a chance to break the slate, be the top scorer on the slate. Actually, let's take him off. But what happens to the Nuggets when Jokic can't play? Well, we'll put Jamal Murray on the court, and then remember Michael Porter Jr. is down as well, so we'll take MPJ off. So it's a pretty different team. Not different, but it's different enough that we could see some fluctuation on usage. So let's put AG00 and Jamal Murray on. And we got a 31% usage rate for Jamal Murray in just 56 minutes. 23% on Aaron Gordon. Jamal Murray, $1.25 on the per minute production. I'm gonna allow Michael Porter Jr. to be on, just kind of see, so we can project that way. Still over 30% usage for Jamal Murray. So looks like the likeliest inference, is that the word we're looking for? The likeliest inference we should take is that Jamal Murray should be could be a great play in the absence of Jokic. His DraftKings price looks better than his FanDuel price. And then if Jokic is in, I'm not that enthusiastic on Murray's price point, but in the absence of Michael Porter Jr., him and Aaron Gordon could still serve a role, at least at their DraftKings prices, or I'll say more so at their DraftKings prices. So that's all I got to say about that. I met Arn Anderson last night. What? I used to live in Atlanta, Georgia when I was a kid, when I was like 5, 6, 7. And I don't remember what the reason was, but we lived in a motor lodge, which is like a hotel, but I don't know how to explain it. And it was across the street from a Waffle House on the highway. And my mom and my stepdad at the time worked at the Waffle House. And in Atlanta, Georgia, the Waffle House might as well have been the headquarters of WCW. And those wrestlers used to stay at that motor lodge all the time. And I remember Junkyard Dog would hang out with me. Arn Anderson took me for a walk a couple times. I was a kid. Yeah, I always remember that too, because him and my stepdad were talking, and I don't know, it's like Orrin Anderson, who I just watched on TV. So that's crazy that you met him, man. That's wild. MJF's the best in the wrestling game right now. Best promo. Yeah, I like from what I've seen of the Tribal Chief stuff, but I don't get to watch. Porter Jr.'s out. Yeah, I know he's out. Did I say he was in? If I did, my bad. But I'm pretty sure we've been researching as if he's out. Oh, you mean Kevin Porter Jr. or not? I don't know what you. I'm confused. Unless you mean Otto Porter Jr. There's a lot of Porter Jr. The Porter Jr. brothers. They're around. On the Pelican side, what do we like in here, if anything? 230 total. McCollum hasn't really moved much in his price during the stretch with Zion and Ingram down, and Ingram still carrying a doubtful tag, so I'm assuming he's going to continue to be out. Maybe mixed bag of nuts as far as what you're going to get, but I will say there is some ceiling to be had at 8,200. Not as consistent as we would like it, but if he dropped a high 40-50 fantasy point game at 8,200, wouldn't be surprised, and I'd take it. Or coming off a low scoring game against Miami, great defense. They're going to put up some slow scoring stuff. We're implying this team for 15, 20 more points tonight than that game. So you look at the schedule here, it's easy to just look at the far right column and game log watch and feel bad. But 2 games against Miami, a game against Cleveland, yeah, Boston's in the mix as well, and he did well there. I think he should trend in the right direction at this price point. So maybe the tough schedule has done us a favor and kept his price lower. So I'm fine with getting the CJ McCollum here. If Najee Marshall plays, I'm fine with getting exposure to him. I like his DK price more, and that's kind of it. I'm not too enthralled with the Pelicans as Larry Nance got back in the mix, and that front court gets a little bit more dilapidated in terms of minute projections. But CJ McCollum is somebody I want to keep an eye on, because if he holds on to like low single-digit ownership, I think he has a ceiling worth tapping into, and people just might be writing him off for a strength of schedule stretch that was out of his control. Najee Marshall birthday. Well, he might not play, so we'll see. Birthday narrative, though. Guys, I got a wrestling match on my birthday. Does that mean I'm more likely to win? Wizards at the Mavericks. Next game on the docket. Project 35 for the Wizards. Monte Morris, Bradley Beal, Danny Avdija, Kyle Kuzma, Daniel Gafford taking on Luka Doncic, Spencer Dinwiddie, Tim Hardaway Jr., Dorian Finney-Smith, and Dwight Powell. Wizards cosmetically different. Porzingis won't be there today, or won't be in the rotation today. Kendrick Nunn probably doesn't play today. If he did, who cares? And then Rui Hachimura is not on the team anymore, and he does represent a little bit of scoring and usage. 22 shot attempts in that last game, and the minutes have been 25 plus. So we might have some stuff to replace, and we're getting to a spot where the Mavericks, slow pace game. We don't expect a lot of implied points, and they got Dorian Finney-Smith back, so it's not going to be a plus matchup. But there's usage to be had here in Kuzma, Beal, and maybe even more minutes to be had here for Kuzma, who I've already got 37 minutes on. So wouldn't be maybe a comfortable matchup, but sometimes usage just got to usurp matchup. So let's see if we can get ourselves some actionable numbers off of Beal and Kuzma. I think I'm leaning more Beal than anything, but let's go Beal, Kuzma. Let's take off Porzingis, and I guess we might as well take off Hachimura as well. Bet the over on Gunn's birthday. So my birthday is February 19th. It always coincides with the NBA All-Star break, so it works out well because I basically don't get any time off all year except the NBA All-Star break and the baseball All-Star break. I believe the NBA All-Star game is on my birthday today, or this year, but I'll be in the ring that night defending the tag team championships. It's around here somewhere. 32% usage rate for Bradley Beal in just 69 minutes of this split. I guess we can go back to the beginning of last year. Decent rollover. It still kind of paints the same picture. But it does feel like I'm getting pushed towards a Bradley Beal night. Yeah, a little over fantasy point per minute, 29% usage. Dinwiddie was on that squad. You take him out of the mix. So, how we feeling, chat? How we feeling about Bradley Beal tonight? He is 7,300 on DraftKings, 8K on FanDuel. Seems asinine to see him at such low price as it is, but with the situation here and with the way perhaps this defense will funnel a little bit more toward the guards, I think Bradley Beal is somebody I might be getting to maybe a little bit more than I have been lately, but I think it just makes a lot of sense. So I like Bradley Beal. And is there anybody else that we want to take shots on in the absence of Rui Hachimura? Because it does feel like it's generally guessing. Right? It's just generally guessing. Let's go look at some of these Wizards rotations to kind of see the floor when Hachi was in the mix. Hachi played a lot alongside DeLon Wright of Asia. Weird. Who takes over the Hachimura role is what I'm getting at. I don't want to play Taj Gibson. I guess DeLon Wright, Avisa. Maybe Avisa just has more shots, and I'm not really running to play Avisa ever. So maybe he could tap into a 15+ shot attempt off the bench type of role, but I really don't want to take too much action on that hunch. So I guess we'll have to see it play out. And like I said, at the end of the day, it's still a slow-paced, low-scoring matchup. So, and it could get a little bit lopsided. 7.5 point spread leaves the door open. Speaking of which, on the other side, the Mavericks, Luka Doncic at the tippy top of every projection model today. He has quite the gap, almost a 20-point gap over number 2 for me, and that's Jokic, and that's only on 33 minutes. If we tweak that, maybe it gets a little tighter, but it's hard to just not want those raw points, pre-flop, post-flop, everything in between, against a team that he should be able to have his way with. So get to Luka when you can, how you can, wherever you can. Looks like a good spot for him. The rest of the Mavericks I'm never that enthralled with. No one's really projecting overly well for me here as well. So just Luka and get out. Tag team champion of the world. Or Central Texas, but it's basically the world, you know. Haven't played him all year. I'm playing him tonight. Bradley Beal, yeah, I'm with that. Kuzma over 4 assists. You like that, Tim? Let's go check that out. So Kuzma's assist rate in this split was 19%. Not great, but not terrible, but also just not a sample size. It's realistic to expect him to maybe have to pass a little bit more with if Dorian Finney-Smith hangs on him a little bit more. So I get it. I don't really have a lean one way or the other. His per minute production is great too in that short sample, at least for fantasy. How do we watch? Oh man, my neck just popped so loud. I don't know if that came through. How do we watch the tag team championship match? And I don't know if that one's gonna be streaming. Probably not. None of my it's Texas, man. We don't do internet, but I might get some clips on Twitter. Shane, I appreciate the follow, man. Welcome to the channel. Hope you're doing all right. If you guys are out there lurking, you're not subscribed, that red button below says subscribe. It's lit up, man. Click on that. While you're looking down there, maybe hit that thumbs up for me, man. Show some love. Good vibes only. Good vibes only. Where we going? Hornets at the Suns. Next game on the docket. I didn't type a spread here. What am I doing? Vegas odds. Think Kuzma should make like 4 threes tonight? You think so? I think it's fair. Let's go look at. We can look at that. So we revamped, or I revamped the spreadsheet a month or so ago. I don't know if some of you guys caught on to it, but if you scroll to the right on the index portal, or you click advanced look, it'll bring you over to the right, and it'll break down players' overall usage, their assist percentages. Now, this isn't like on-off court tool stuff, but you can also check out stuff like 3-point attempts per game, 3-point field goal percentage per game, stuff like that. Kyle Kuzma leads the team easily in 3-point attempts, 7.5 per game. And with the 7.5 point spread, game script says that you're probably going to need to chuck some more threes. So I don't think it's crazy to think that he should chuck more threes here. He's already leading the team in field goal attempts per game. And with no Porzingis, with no Hachimura, and Hachi chucked. I don't think he chucked for any efficiency, but he chucked 5, 6. Yeah, I think it's reasonable to suspect Kuzma to unload from downtown. Now, matchup-wise, it is a lukewarm matchup for attacking the Mavs with threes. If we look at the team metrics chart in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet, the Dallas Mavericks, they're probably bottom. Yeah, they're bottom 2 in 3-point allowed per game, but that's also because how freaking slow they are. I guess 3-point field goal percentage would be a little bit more something that's actionable for this volume. They're a little bit above average. So the matchup is net negative for Kuzma if we're targeting threes, but volume and attempts is a likely spot for double-digit attempts from downtown, 11, 12, 12. So if you think he hits 4 threes, and I think that's very fair, I think the research suggests that he should chuck, and he's at 2.5 threes made. I kind of like that. I like that call. And we don't need 4, G-Man. So maybe I'll jot that down in the notes. Kyle Kuzma over 2.5 threes. I like that. If you guys got any nuggets like that, let me know. We'll research it and come up with a few. Maybe we'll pair it with the taco. Did we get another taco voting up for PrizePicks on Twitter? Why should I base my plays on what you say? You shouldn't. What the freak? You should base your plays on what you want to play. Buck Owens. My name is Buck. I drive a truck. And I love to play PrizePicks. No hate, just loud. Just loud. Good vibes only. We just doing research, Buck. You could move along if you like. No one told you to be here. Appreciate those of you that are, though. All right, back to the Hornets and Suns here. Project starting 5 for the Hornets: LaMelo Ball, Gordon Hayward. I got Gordon Hayward twice. Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward, PJ Washington, Mason Plumlee taking on Chris Paul, Mikal Bridges, Torrey Craig, Cameron Johnson, Bismack Biyombo. Lots of news not lots, but LaMelo Ball and DeAndre Ayton, notable to work with. LaMelo Ball's been out. I've been playing as if he's going to be out. Like guys like that in that situation where you're helped off the court, I lean towards you're out until you're not out. Has carried a Q-tag the last 2 games, missed last night, so we'll see if he does suit up again here, but I don't know that they're in a rush to get him on the court. But we'll see. If he can't go, then we probably run back a similar lineup as they threw last night, and it's one of those atrocious back-to-backs, altitude in Utah and then going on the road or continue to stay on the road going to Phoenix. So definitely a trap spot, but maybe that was by design, you know what I mean, and maybe they held him out last night for him to be a fire starter tonight. But last night they started Hayward, Plumlee, Rozier, PJ Washington, Jalen McDaniels. Would assume if LaMelo could play that Jalen McDaniels would go to the bench. But, yeah. Jason Feliz, I appreciate that sub, man. Any Hauser love with Celtics being so thin? That's not a crazy thought. I wasn't there, but you could certainly make a case there with as short as they are on guards. One of those guys is foul trouble away. Oh, I meant to add on the total, by the way. So what is the total for a Charlotte's game on a back-to-back coming out of the altitude? 6.5 point dog. So what are we doing? 220. Let's go 227. Suns -6. 227 -6. Phoenix. It's a 4-on-1 bounce idea. Yeah. Clark is a trash can. Brandon Clark. Yeah, Xavier Tillman drew the start. And I guess he has started in the past, but so has Brandon Clark. So it's just kind of one of those, it's a shame. And that was the unfortunate part about that game being the last game on the slate. Is you really couldn't do much. But I guess if you swap the Tillman, but Tillman, I don't think Tillman did anything as special. So if Ball can go, obviously he has 50-point upside. Chris Paul in the mix now. I got him for 33 minutes. Is this game 2 back? I think he played over the weekend when I was out of town. Yeah, the 22nd. Through 38 minutes on night 1. Good for him. And if we have a similar situation where this game can stay close enough, this obviously a plus matchup with no Devin Booker, with no DeAndre Ayton. We know his usage is going to be through the roof. And he's probably going to be more than 8K on DraftKings with that type of opportunity. So, to put an official number on Chris Paul here in the likely split of no Booker. And then Ayton was doubtful, right? Let me double check that. Yeah, he's doubtful. Doubtful for Tuesday. Okay. Biyombo's a lock. Didn't Biyombo play for the Hornets? Or am I tripping? Anyone taking Took over 1.5 shot on goals? I guess, Chad, if someone can help him on that. I think Tim, just from a quick reference standpoint, you could compare it to the books. I would imagine the books have like 2.5 on everybody, so it's probably a market value. But I don't know anything about hockey. But if somebody out there could offer up if over 1.5 shot on goals is a good investment. I would say there's no way it's not plus EV, but whatever. What was I doing? Official number on Chris Paul with no Devin Booker, no Ayton. He was drafted by Charlotte. Okay. I had a feeling. Chris Paul, 24% usage rate, 49.5% assist rate. Absolutely insane considering no Booker, no Ayton. Do we get single-digit assist props potentially in this matchup? Probably not, right? Fudge. There's 2 balls. Chris Paul is going to be 9.5 or something. 9.5. That's a really good assist rate. 11 on his first game back. For a lot of minutes there. I have him for 33 minutes. What did that come out in the model for assists on Paul? I got Paul leading second most in the slate with assists. So right around what the line is. But I might be interested in the over. I guess I would be more interested if LaMelo Ball played in this game, staying close. Mikal Bridges I like as well. Lots of minutes coming his way. And then, yeah, Biyombo and Jock Landale. Those two in the front court. So let's look at the minute flows for that last game. But we know Charlotte's just a spot where we love centers. Although I think I was a little bit not super pleased last night with Kessler, but it is what it is. We love centers against the Hornets. Biyombo put in 15 minutes. What happened here? Let's see. Oh, he fouled out in 15 minutes. Good God. I bet it was Ja. Ja likes to run to the rack, so I don't expect that to happen here. I think Biyombo should be safer for the 20 plus, maybe even 30. Let's go to StatMuse. I already had a StatMuse open. What am I doing? Bismack, Biyombo, to give you that game log without DeAndre Ayton last 10 games. What's up, Craig? I have to get different in tournaments. Minutes, last couple games without Ayton. 16, 30, 16. What happened here? 17, 31, 18, 30. He's been all over the road. See if we can correlate that with. So this game, 17 minutes against the Golden State Warriors, he was plus 21. And then against Denver, he was minus 31. So it looks like those were 2 blowouts. Yeah, 126 to 97. And then plus 21 against the Warriors. So We can cross-reference the dates here. We got time, right? Yeah, we don't need to rush. So let's go to January 11th on the rotation. See what happened for him. And then also a guy like Biyombo will benefit much more with a guy like Chris Paul who can serve him up. So Biyombo didn't touch the court for like the final 20 minutes. Jock Landale closed out. And then what was the other game? Golden State only a 10th. So the night before. Dude, my neck is killing me today. Biyombo didn't close the fourth quarter. Starters mainly did, but it looks like in lieu of him, it really wasn't a one guy. And no personal fouls. So I guess his minutes can be a little bit trolly. But for now, I'll stand on a 24-minute projection. I think that's fine. I think I'm always going to get like a point per minute on the score against this matchup. Gordon Hayward just got ruled out. That makes sense. So maybe we'll get LaMelo news. Oh, it's just questionable. Okay. Well, that'll open up Jalen McDaniels, I guess, no matter what. Very topical. Good catch. So we'll put McDaniels in the starting lineup no matter what. And then if LaMelo gets ruled out, might open up Dennis Smith Jr. 4,600. I'm fine. But we'll see if that moves the line. They got to know LaMelo's in or out, right? They got to know. Happy Tuesday. Your thoughts on giving Kuzma a nod over Bill because of rebounds? I think that's fair. I think Kuzma's going to play in a competitive game, likely has a chance to play up to 40 minutes. I think the pace and all that makes me, lukewarm on the whole situation. I'm kind of leaning Bill picking up some offensive slack and kind of tasking Dorian Finney-Smith with more Kuzma. But rebound-wise, I would probably always anticipate Kuzma to out-rebound Bill in that split. What I guess we can go back to that real quick. We got time. Anything else on the, I think we know what we're doing here, chat. We're gonna go Chris Paul for sure. McCall Bridges for me, lots of minutes for him. And then Biyombo, maybe we split Biyombo and Landale down the center. Maybe prevent overlap. It's just too good of a matchup to not get some exposure to, right? It's literally the nut spot. Steven, appreciate that sub, man. I hope you're doing okay. Doing great. The most fantasy points per game surrendered is Charlotte Hornets, and a guy like Chris Paul can lob Biyombo, so I'm there on that. I think I'll have exposure to both Biyombo. Maybe, I don't know about equal parts exposure, a little bit more tilting the seesaw towards the starter, but I'm assuming Biyombo is going to be the starter. It just needs to not foul out in 15 minutes, and we'll be all right. But oh yeah, I meant to go do a little bit of research on what you were saying. Basically, get an official rebound percentage on Kuzma in that split. Matter of fact, I don't even want to. I'll just take off Porzingis. Like, I don't want to dilute the minutes if we don't have to. So we'll go Porzingis and Hachimura off. Whoever starts, yeah, probably whoever starts would be the preferable one. But I don't think it's crazy. Like, if Biyombo starts, I'd probably have more than 0% Landale and vice versa. But I just tilt the seesaw towards the guy starting. Kuzma has 10% of total rebound opportunities with 17.5% defensive rebound opportunities, but it's because of the offensive stuff, which makes sense because he's usually taking the shot. So 17.5% defensive rebound opportunities. So I'm fine with that. Meanwhile, Beal in that split is at 8%. Yeah. So yeah, rebound wise, if that was your straw in the camel's back, go for it. But I'm kind of leaning more so towards Beal today in DFS. What's up, Dave Jones? Hope you're doing all right. I haven't seen your name in a while. Stacking Wizards, Beal and Kuzma with Luka and DK prices are great. I do think there is upside at those prices, and that's helping me be a little bit more receptive of the fact that the pace is so low and the total so low. But I wouldn't get too tunnel vision, you know. What about Dario Saric? We don't expect him to start, right? Did he start against Memphis? No. Coming off the bench, 20 minutes. I don't have a specific reason to be there on him. Looks like he was playing pure backup minutes to Cameron Johnson, like outside of the final 2 minutes. Everything else was backup to Cameron Johnson. So I guess if you just got an inclination to play Dario Saric, but I don't think it's anything connected to Ayton, if that makes sense. I think Ayton's purely a Biyombo, Landale thing. For the most part. I guess there is a stretch here. But for the most part. Wait, there was Landale and Biyombo. Or no, okay, yeah. So there was a stretch in the third quarter where Biyombo just got too much foul trouble, and there was like a 2-minute gap where I guess they just went F it small with like a Koji. But for the most part, I wouldn't have a specific reason to be higher on Dario Saric today. See that? Sorry, dumb? No, you're not dumb. Ain't no dumb questions. There is, but we don't. Oh, we only got one game left? Holy crap. Holy cow. All right, cool. Hey, we did this 20% off coupon yesterday. We're going to do it again today. I might do it a lot, but I don't know. We'll see. So if you guys want to hang out in the RunDFS.com premium Discord, we'll be in the voice chat for a couple hours before lock. You can get 20% off any of these memberships. Doesn't matter if you've been a member before, just straight up 20% just because you're here hanging out. So that 20% is actually worth over $100 discount on the year pass. All you got to do on any passes you want, you click it, you go to have a coupon, and then you put today's date, which is JN24. Coupon code approved. Boom, year pass down to $479. On top of that, if you were to jump on the year pass or the all-star to all-star break pass, you do get voucher towards Fantasy Cruncher. So $100 towards Fantasy Cruncher on the all-star to all-star break pass, and $150 towards Fantasy Cruncher on the year pass. So in essence, you could rebate that down to like $200 a year pass if you're already going to be a Cruncher user. So check that out. Cool way to support the site, support the streams, and get a little something in return. If you do upgrade today, after you upgrade, you should be able to go to the VIP portal. It'll have some links to a couple spreadsheets and the Discord. Discord looks something like this. If you scroll down here, I'll be right here in the NBA voice chat. And it's usually a couple of us. Fish fan, Raj, remember Raj? He's out here looking for bets, Young C, guys like that. So, it's usually a fun time, vibing out, making some lineups, relaxing, chilling out, maxing. Gonna show what up, Caleb? Hope you're doing all right. All right, main event tonight. The Clippers on the road, all the way to LA to play the Lakers. Project starting five for the Clippers: Terrence Mann, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Marcus Morris, Ivica Zubac, and on the Lakers side, Dennis Schroeder, Patrick Beverley, Troy Brown Jr., LeBron James, and Thomas Bryant. LeBron James is carrying a questionable tag. Usually has played through, or I won't say usually, but has played through Q tags a bulk of the season. I feel like every game he's literally on the injury report. But yeah, I'm expecting him to play marquee game, and he's on the all-time scoring path thing. So right now I'm projecting to play, and I've got him in for 37 minutes. In the grand scheme of the slate, his 37 minutes comes in as fourth on raw projection totals behind Tatum and Jokic. Jokic is questionable as well. So there's a chance he's a top 3 play on the board pre-flop, according to the projections. So I want to be there on him, but the price is stiff. And I don't know how often he gets the 70 versus a guy like Luka. So I'll always lean more Luka in that spot. But I don't mind getting to LeBron if you want, and if we can get him at like single digit or low teens in ownership. The Clippers are a little bit harder to navigate when Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are in. Kawhi is no longer AK for free, but Paul George is in the low AK areas. So let's go put a wowie on them and kind of see how they've been coinciding. The Lakers have just been a pretty solid matchup all year, and the Clippers do come in as a 5 point favorite. So implied for 120. Maybe I got that wrong. I think it's 120 or 115, something like that. So let's go to the Clippers. Let's put Paul George and Kawhi on the court together. Like some Zubac, Doug. I can get down with that. Kawhi and Paul George over a point per minute, almost 1.1 fantasy point per minute on DraftKings, 27% usage rate. So can kind of run them at each other sometimes. I think on these prices, I'd probably want one or the other. I do think Kawhi, to pay off a 10K price point, I want 50 plus on this slate. If they were both AK, I can live with a lot more coincidation. Is that a word? It is now. So I might stagger those two in alt lineups. And then you mentioned Zubac. I'm fine with Zubac. The Lakers have certainly been very attackable in that front court. You look at fantasy points allowed per game. The Lakers are allowing the 3rd most fantasy points per game to opposing centers. And Zubac's been a lot more steady lately in terms of minutes, so I don't mind that. In 2 games against the Lakers this season, averaging 37 fantasy points on DraftKings, and then in our more competitive games where he's not in foul trouble, we've seen him play 36, 35, 30 plus minutes. So I think that's a good call, Doug. I definitely want some Zubac in the player pool for sure. Clippers could blow out the Lakers. Certainly possible. As far as it not being worth it to pay up for LeBron, at the same time, the Lakers could hang in there and LeBron could have a vintage LeBron game. Is that the likeliest outcome? No. And I think at that price point, I'm not steering your ship. I'm with you. I think I'd put that money into like Luka as well, but I'm not ruling or dismissing LeBron James out completely. Joe, I appreciate the sub, man. You guys have been killing it lately with the subs. I really do appreciate it. I know the streams have been consistent because my schedule's been tough, but my schedule's wide open now, at least for another 2 months. I don't have contractual obligations, so we'll do a lot of content here. What's the name of that app you're using, or the tools that would love to learn how to use that? I'm assuming you're talking about the Add More Funds app, which is not really an app, but this is here. I'll put it in chat. If you guys want to check it out, if you use my link, they do throw me a little kickback, and it helps keep the streams free. Let me open up. Let's see. But it is the NBA Wowie tool. If you guys use it, there's a couple of like versions of it, but this is the one I use. Add More Funds. I think I don't know how much you get on the free end. I pay like $8 a month for this one though. But they give you the rotation, the game flows, so kind of like Popcorn Machine, and then the usage rates and stuff on off court tools. But there are a few services like this out there. This is the one I use, and so far so good, Say coincidence. Making new words. Remember my favorite gunism word is anomalaic. Anomaly. That game was anomalaic. Zubac isn't likely to get major minutes in this game when Davis is out of the Lakers. Don't play traditional center. Zubac doesn't get a lot of minutes against smaller lineups. Let's look into that, Brandon. That's not a crazy assumption, but let's see. Zubac is averaging 35 minutes per game against the Lakers, and let's see where those games with Anthony Davis. I don't think that's a crazy statement, Brandon, because they have had Robert Covington, somebody that can play Well, let's see. We can Zubac DKP by game log versus Lakers last 5 games. So we'll just look at the last 2. So on November 9th and October 20th. So yeah, it's a long time ago. And the Lakers did have AD, and the Lakers had AD on both games. What about recently? Who have they played that might be small? Dallas, kind of small, but he did have 4 fouls. 36 minutes against San Antonio's front court. Utah, meh. But Bryant plays though. 33 minutes out of Bryant the last game. So I don't know. I get what you're saying. I understand the pessimism, but also I don't know. Even if we project them at 28 minutes, I'm still wanting in on them. But I don't know. Bryant is not close to a traditional center. What do you mean? I mean, there's not a ton of traditional centers in the NBA right now. Wait, is this the guy from? It's the guy that. What do you mean by traditional center? He can shoot threes. Yeah, I don't know what he means for that. Thomas Bryant seems like a center to me. 6'10", right? He's not 7 foot, but it's still close, right? Bryant, let's see. He shoots 1.3 threes a game. I feel like this is the guy that hijacked the show last time, and ultimately, in retrospect, I feel like he was a troll. Like, I don't really think some people have these. What was it? There was some take last time. I was like, that's not a real person saying that. I think you're overthinking it, Brandon. You don't need to play Zubac to stop Thomas Bryant. Why would you not just play your center though? No one plays big. So, all right, Brandon. Hey, Coach Katz, you got it. I don't really have a reason to re-navigate those minutes here. Yeah, okay. There was some show that I think it was, man, what was the debate? It was some weird debate, and the guy ultimately went off, the guy that he was talking about. And then in retrospect, I was like, there's no way that's a real person. So, I'm pretty sure Brandon's not a real person. Like, my apologies if you are. But if I remember correctly, I think there's like a 90% chance you're just a troll. About a week. All right, Chris. Hey, jump in the Discord for sure. By the way, when I'm doing my research, I have these 2 tabs. They'll be here, so I'll have my tier 1s, 2, 3s on both sides. You don't have to tail it. You can just cross-reference yours to mine. It's good to have your own plays, your own gut calls, stuff like that. Same dude. All right. The Clippers are more efficient with Batum at the 5. Owned who in a debate about Kawhi? I can't remember what it was about. I just remember you were way wrong at the end of the night. I almost tweeted about it, but then I was like, nah, he's not a real person. But like, I don't know, I'm not into negative vibes, but I do remember you had some ridiculous take that was so wrong at the end of the night. I don't remember what it was. All right, Chad, what do we got? I got 10-20 minutes before I want to get off the air, or before I plan to get off the air. So if you guys got questions, comments, concerns, anything that you want to revisit, throw them at me. We can look at the PrizePicks board a little bit. What's up, Timmy? Hope you're doing all right. I keep skipping this song. So as a reminder, if you guys want to play along with us on PrizePicks, use code GUNDACKER when you do. They'll match your first deposit up to $100. And by the way, if anybody's going to a game, a basketball game or a concert, something like that, you guys ever use third-party apps to get your tickets if you don't get it straight from like the venue, I actually have a deal with SeatGeek. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but they will save you $20. I'm in the middle of like 2 plugs here, but $20 off of SeatGeek on your first order if you use code GUNDACKER during checkout. So if you're gonna go catch a game, a nosebleed section, something like that, hey man, there's $20 of beer money in your pocket just using code GUNDACKER. And a couple people use this every month. It surprises me every month when they like send me a thing. But anyway, what are we thinking on PrizePicks? So I kind of like the 2.5-3 prop that was brought up earlier. We should get another taco soon. The Jimmy Butler play. That's what it was. You're right. Yeah, I was like, how is this guy real? Do you like the Lowry under assist or rebound prop more on NHA? So I haven't looked at NHA today. The last few times, I actually haven't been able to log into No House Advantage. Still no Twitter vote, huh? Maybe we'll get one. So, I mean, I don't want to turn this into like bullying Cats. I really don't think Cats is a real person. I don't really have I don't feel like banning him, but I don't think he's a real person with real thoughts. I think it's an obvious troll saying hot takes to rile up chat, which is good for engagement, so whatever. What do you think about this for DK single entry? TJ McConnell, Spencer Dinwiddie, Benedict Mathurin, Cam Johnson, Biyombo, Luka, Josh Green, and Chris Paul. Vic, I think you're all over the road, brother. I don't think I would play Luka with Dinwiddie. Like, it's not negatively correlated, but you're putting a lot of stock in a meh total. And I don't know where you got Josh Green from. Oh, you can't play 3 Mavericks on this slate, bro. You can't. Vic, we got to restructure that. No, what are your thoughts on Saben Lee? Any minutes for him? I think if Chris Paul's back, Saben Lee's just a 10-day contract guy that's going to be gone, right? 10 minutes in that game, the first game that Chris Paul came back. So, like, unless another one of those guards gets rolled out, I don't really see a reason why he would play unless you're projecting blowout, which is possible for the Hornets on night 2 of back-to-back. Do we have any line movement on the Gordon Hayward rollout? No, 6.5. Likes to keep his enemy close. I just, as long as, like, if someone is here and they say hot takes or whatever, it's cool. Like, I don't ban Sean V. It's as long as you're not using toxic words like calling people idiots and stuff like that, then it's whatever. But I'm all for some friction, game theory and hot take wise. So as long as we all on the same page there, just, you know. Just happy Isaac's back. Magic fans like me needed to see him back. Man, my boy Jake hit me with a weird stat yesterday. He said Jonathan Isaac's game last night was his first game, or the last time he played, LaMelo Ball wasn't even in the league. And I was like, wow, that's fascinating. Does Dinwiddie's usage go up with no Christian Wood? I mean, it has to. We can get the official answer to that though. So let's put Luka. Basically, it's Luka and everybody else. But we'll put Dinwiddie. We'll put these 3 on the court, and then we'll take Wood off just to give you the answer straight up. So with those 3 on the court, Dinwiddie's at a 13% usage rate, 0.6 fantasy point per minute. You take Christian Wood off the court in that split. And Dinwiddie goes from 13 to 20. So it does go up 7%. It's still less than a fantasy point per minute. But to answer your question, yes, it does go up. Vucevic and Miles Turner in the same line. I think there's some centers that are cheap and viable. I think I'm going to land on a lot of Biyombo. Maybe that's going to be chalky, but Biyombo's my top value right now on a 24-minute projection. So I might pay up for one center and take a value I don't know that I want to run Turner at Vooch. Because we did say that the Bulls kind of defend the paint pretty well, I think. Let's go points in the paint allowed. But that's not a bad, because Miles Turner can shoot threes. So it's not necessarily 1-to-1. Here we go. Points in the paint allowed. Chicago Bulls, a little bit above average. But in terms of fantasy points per game, DVP, Bulls are bottom 10. It's like it's just not negatively correlated, but you probably don't you don't feel great about putting 7K and 9K on guys that are eating each other's rebounds, right? One game against Chicago, a point per minute in 24 minutes. I don't think it's insane. Doesn't feel great. Use an optimizer when you play a lot of NHA pick'em lines. I don't know that there is an optimizer that supports it. I only play a couple. I'll be honest, when I play on NHA on the bigger slates, it's a lot of ties that annoys me. So I usually just fire off a couple and take advantage of the overlay, you know? Shareable, appreciate the sub. Thank you very much. Celtics are a whole lot of value. Timmy, they are. Well, I was saying earlier, just be mindful that the Heat, one of the slowest pace, one of the best defenses, 215 total. There's not a lot of point equity. So everyone has a case individually, but maybe don't end up with a lineup that has 4 Celtics. You know what I mean? Donovan Mitchell over 7.5 rebounds and assists. That's an interesting one. So I don't dabble with the rebounds and assists much. What up, Daniel? Hope you're doing all right. You can go over your favorite values at each position. Favorite values. Gotcha. So I think on DraftKings, obviously Biyombo stands out as my favorite value. Peyton Pritchard's going to project pretty well. I know I said this yesterday about Peyton Pritchard, and I apologize if you jumped off the ledge with me. I was there. Trust me, he was my highest owned player. But with no Jaylen Brown, it can only get better, right? And with the Heat defense being a little bit more funnel, pushing more shots from behind the arc versus points in the paint, and replacing 25, 30 points from Jaylen Brown, and then, of course, just absorbing all those guard minutes. Remember, Malcolm Brogdon played last night. He's not tonight. Like, there's a real chance Peyton Pritchard could play 35-plus minutes. And at that point, at that price, he wouldn't have to be super efficient. We'd want him to be, but yeah. And I know somebody mentioned Sam Hauser as well, but I think Peyton Pritchard probably my favorite guard value. Biyombo's probably my favorite center value as far as a forward. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't really have a forward that stands out. I think forward felt like perhaps a pay up. I like McCall Bridges' minutes here. I don't really know that I'm running. I guess maybe McDaniels with Hayward officially being out, but he's not even a value at that point. But I guess my 2 favorite overall values from this far out, it's going to be Peyton Pritchard and Bismack Biyombo. What? Didn't know you had your own live. I appreciate that, Cheryl. I do. That's how I got opportunities elsewhere. It's this channel. What up, White Nose? The only center I'm playing today is Gafford. You like Gafford that much, huh? David Johnson, former Cardinals running back. Appreciate the follow, the sub. May or may not be the former Cardinals running back, but it's a lot cooler if you are. No offense. Brown is out, yeah. Yeah, hey, I'm here for some Daniel Gafford love if we want to. Oh, yeah, 4,300. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're right there. That one just like flew by me. What the flip? That's got to be coming with ownership, eh? Ownership, eh? Gafford. it should be higher than what it is. Peyton Pritchard is the highest owned player at last glance. Ownership, eh? Hate playing Celtics on the back-to-back. I mean, nothing about loading up on Celtics feels good when you think about it. Being the matchup, you know, they're implied for like 102. But it's hard to look past how many bodies and how many minutes are out. And even Blake Griffin, like if he didn't play tonight because it's a back-to-back after starting yesterday, would we be surprised? No. So I think we can plan a lot of minutes on some of these Celtics to feel better. And I would assume that Peyton Pritchard's kind of scoreboard safe. Same with Grant Williams. I think Tatum's really, and maybe Derek White would be the guys that you boo off the stage at the Apollo if the scoreboard's lopsided. Robert Williams with no Horford should be good. German, so if your gut's telling you to play him, go for it. But if you're looking for a reason to not play him, here's my reasoning. The Miami Heat allow the fewest fantasy points per game in basketball to opposing centers, and the Miami Heat allow the fewest points per game in the paint to opposing centers. So if you're just looking for check boxes for upside, Robert Williams, who accrues 1.2 blocks per game, which, you know, whatever, but blocks have been a strong part of his game. The Miami Heat allow the fewest blocks per game. So a lot of the stuff that you would like for your center is not there for Robert Williams. So I'm not super stoked on it. Sims is a powerful. Oh yeah, Jericho Sims could definitely be a solid value for forward if we're looking to go there. I think DeLon Wright's your sneaky guy. I guess also keep an eye on Dennis Smith Jr. Now that we got Gordon Hayward out, if we also don't have LaMelo Ball, Dennis Smith Jr. And I think he came off the bench in that same split. Actually, I think, what was it? I think Hayward might have been in. Let me see. Was it Hawks or Rockets? Dennis Smith Jr. got 28 minutes. Okay, but LaMelo was in, and that was the game LaMelo got hurt. And then the next game LaMelo was out. Dennis Smith Jr. came off the bench, and Hayward started. So if we know Hayward's out, if LaMelo's out, there's a good chance Dennis Smith Jr. could start and maybe even be 35 minutes, and then he becomes a pretty decent value projection-wise. Heck, he got 29 minutes last night, too, without LaMelo. So, back-to-back, altitude, travel, blah, 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 blah. Sure, you're pushed back, but somebody to keep in mind. Donovan Mitchell in the Garden. I like that, too, dog. Pat Bev revenge game against the Clippers. Looking at Celtics like I look at Dallas. Yeah. If Nembhard sits again, who replaces him in the lineup? I think we've seen a few variations, but Duarte, Benedict, Mathurin would be guys I expect. Heck, I don't know when's the last time. Let's see. Let's go Indiana. But Indiana has not really been consistent with their starting lineup when guys are out. But right, we've seen TJ McConnell not start several of these games without Halliburton. So I would assume it would be a Mathurin or Chris Duarte, stuff like that. Mathurin started a couple games back, so those two would be the front end candidates. About 280, you guys? Are you serious right now? Can we get to 100 likes, chat? Could you like make my day? 14 of you out there hit that thumbs up. That would be awesome. That I appreciate that. A Tuesday stream, you guys are awesome. Dennis Schroeder. I did not mean to say Dennis Schroeder. I mean, what you're saying is not crazy, but Kendrick Nunn sucked. So let's not run to replace Kendrick Nunn production too fast, right? 16, 20 minutes. But I get what you're going. Like, if you got a feeling in your bad knee for Dennis Schroeder, I'm not going to talk you off that ledge, but I meant to say Dennis Smith Jr. I have Schroeder at 34 minutes at 5,500 coming back at 30. I'm absolutely fine with taking 30 at 55. How about Washington Jr. from the Hornets? PJ. Let's see. I have for 31. But yeah, okay. So I guess the question is pertaining to the outs here. I guess there could be a path to higher usage, huh? Let's go Rozier. Anthony Lacombe, I appreciate that sub. Welcome to the channel. Let's go Rozier, Washington. Let's do those two. Jim Hyde, appreciate that sub. Oh, you guys subbed at the same time. Let's take off LaMelo, and then let's take off Gordon Hayward. There might be no sample for this. Oh, there is. Oh, that's a lot of sample. Hold on, what? That's a lot more sample than I was expecting. So almost a 20% usage there for PJ and just under a fantasy point per minute. I guess you could do worse. Getting him for about a point per minute on the projection as is. What's the DraftKings price? 7K on FanDuel is not warm and fuzzy. 6,300 on DraftKings. Yeah, I can get there. Some good games here too. I think that's a fun one. I might throw him in a pool just for you. I'm high on Torrey Craig. I hate playing Torrey Craig, but I'm not going to talk you off him. McCall Bridge is like the main guy I go to. I guess Cameron Johnson. I haven't had a real chance to load up on Cameron Johnson yet, but I know in stretches last year he was my guy for a stretch. So, yeah, I might have slept on him in the first run through researching that game. You know, we hit 100. I appreciate that, chat. You guys are literally goated for that. If you're on Twitter, twitter.com/Gundacker, and then as a reminder, 20% off every run DFS pass. Gets you Fantasy Cruncher credit and gets you access to the Discord. In the next couple hours, I'll be hanging out in the voice chat. Looks like Christopher's already there. I was gonna jump in there, put him on the spot. He just got a sub like 10 minutes ago. But if you guys want to hang out, talk some basketball, or talk life while we make lineups, I'll be in there. All that good stuff. Anything else? Dude, we're about to get to like 300 viewers and I'm about to end the show. I wish I could like host somebody on the way out. That'd be fun. How about anything else you guys got? Kevin Love or Nick Batum? Good God, Dave. I probably will end up saying Kevin Love. But Kevin Love 3,600. Probably Kevin Love for me, but that's you're in a weird spot. Like, how did you get there? I would lean Kevin Love, but neither one of those guys would be somebody I really want at the end of the day, you know? Here, what up, CT? The shooting guard position looks desolate on DraftKings. Hey, man, Peyton Pritchard, baby. Or no, he's only point guard. Oh, no. Yeah, I guess you might be onto something. Maybe Nembhard would be down and we can trust Mathurin. I didn't even realize Gordon Hayward was shooting guard eligible. Yeah, shooting guard is kind of rough now that I'm scrolling through it. On FanDuel, you could put Luka as a shooting guard. And Paul George is underpriced. I just know that Kawhi could vulture his upside, but 8,600. I'm expecting 40 in this implied total, averaging 42.5 per game against him. So I'll have a decent chunk of PG. You know, if you were on more, you'd be big, man. I got fans. I told you guys, hold me yesterday. I can stream every day this week at 3 p.m. Eastern. Derek White, PJ Washington, or McDaniels and Dinwiddie. Man, Dinwiddie doesn't like give me the warm and fuzzies, but I get it, especially in a pinch. And we did just say his per minute production goes to 0.9 plus in the absence of Wood. Luka's not necessarily a negative correlation because of the assists that you can get there. But Derek White's minutes are going to be so huge. And PJ Washington is involved. I probably lean the first two if I'm really just trying to extrapolate total ceiling. White and PJ Washington. Boom. All right. Is the deeper dive about to start now? If so, you guys go watch that. I think it starts at 3:45 usually, unless there's a small slate. Then it might start at the top of the hour. Either way, I appreciate you guys. We're gonna be back tomorrow. NBA schedule. I'm assuming tomorrow's a much bigger slate. So if you guys want to hang out again tomorrow, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 game slate. Oh yeah. Maybe we get a guest. I'm gonna reach out to somebody and get a co-host one of these days. All right, 10 game slate tomorrow. So what are the notable back-to-backs? Pacers play tonight. Wizards play tonight. Nuggets play tonight. That might mean something for the Jokic Q tag, right? He's got to go play Giannis tomorrow. So maybe. Pelicans play. The Lakers play. I think Kuzma over 8 rebounds. Bridges over 19.5 points is good. Bridges points, eh? The Bridges one is I'm a little torn on. I think was it G-Man? Somebody came in and brought up Kuzma's threes, and I kind of sold myself on it. So, like, if I take some Kuzma props, the one I jotted down was Kuzma over 2.5 threes. Because he's probably going to take 10 to 12 three-point attempts tonight. No Porzingis. More offense. It's a positive game script with a 7-point deficit in the implied or in the spread. So that might be, I don't know. I don't want to push you off of rebounds if that's your thing. Were you doing videos back in 2016? Yeah, I've been doing these for a minute. CJ and Gafford or Scary Terry and Biyombo? Man, I love both of those to beast. It's more of a coin flip. I think the first one's safer because Biyombo's minutes has volatility and Rozier's production has volatility. Night 2 of a back-to-back coming from Utah altitude. And I love the thought of CJ being under-owned based on recency bias and a tougher strength of schedule, right? Miami twice, Cleveland, a couple road games here. I think there's a real chance that, he gets slept on with no Zion and no Ingram. And, we've seen the high 40 games. So I think I would lean the first, him and Gafford. Yeah, Charlie. I actually used to get more viewers back then, if you can believe that. But that's because there wasn't like a ton of great content out there. Thoughts on buying low on Beal? I think that's great. I think Beal is way too underpriced for the situation. For DFS, I expect to have more Beal than Kuzma. Yeah, so I'm fine with that. Tyler Hero, I don't think I'm going to get too much on the Miami Heat tonight. I do think Kyle Lowry's price on DraftKings is hard to look away from at 4,800, knowing that man has like triple-double potential. But at 6,800, I need 30+. Probably doable. I think everyone's efficiently priced. There is a ceiling on every one of these prices, so I just probably would prevent overlap between another. But anyway, guys, I really appreciate you guys spending some time with me this afternoon. I'll be back at it tomorrow. I'm headed to the RunDFS.com VIP Discord. If you guys want to hang out with me, I'll be there for the next couple hours until lock. Please, if you don't do nothing else, hit somebody up that you ain't talked to in a while. Tell them you love them. I love you. You never know what the next man going through. Good luck. God bless. Go win some money.